and welcome to how to make a woven placemat out of reusable bags. To make a placemat this size, which is about 12 by 18 inches, you'll need scissors, a stapler, staples, duct tape, and at least 10 average size coated reusable bags. Do not use the soft, non-coated reusable bags. They're not stiff enough for a mat. In fact, see my video into how to make them into a rug. Also helpful for making your placemat is a ruler and/or a 4-inch wide template to cut the pieces. To keep everything square as you're making it, you are going to want to have a piece of foam board or cardboard plus some clamps. This really helps. To create your placemat, gather up your shiny coated reusable bags. And you can also use the thick shiny plastic bags that pet food comes in. Clean all the bags up first, and then promise to never ever use another reusable bag again, because making a placemat or a rug is about the only thing you can do, since no recycling centers will take them in the entire USA. Okay, back to the mat. All right, all of these strips that are woven into this placemat start out as 4-inch wide strips, pieces of material. So the first step is to cut your bags into pieces. Let's grab this one. Using a ruler or your 4-inch wide template, cut the bags into 4-inch wide pieces. The longer the better. You can save the smaller pieces of plastic material in case you added a spot of color, or lengthen the strip, or make some never biodegradable confetti out of it. Don't use the top seam for the mat. It's just too thick to fold. The bag handles you can save for the next rug you make, since those are usually not the coated type. Okay. You can also save the trim edging of the bags to make a dog pull toy. See my other video for that. Once you have your 4-inch wide pieces, you're going to fold them all into strips. Use your very longest and strongest strips for the placemat's 4 edges. These edge strips will be folded in half, and then the edges will meet in the center so that you're forming a V. This creates place for the middle strips to sit in and wrap around, and it gives you a nice smooth edge finish. You're going to need 2 of these, which are at least 20 inches long for the top and bottom, and 2 that are at least 14 inches for the left and right sides. The rest of the strips are going to be folded and rolled like this to create strips that are also 1 inch wide. First, crease your piece in half long ways so you know where the middle is. Then fold it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and flatten it to create a strip that stays closed. By rolling it like this, you create a nice smooth edge on either side. Some of the thicker bags, let me talk about that first, have this stupid baby blanket type material, Whole Foods. You may only want to cut this stuff 3 inches wide and fold it twice, otherwise it's going to be too thick. You want everything the same thickness. It's best to staple one end of each strip to keep it from unrolling, or you can put them under weights, or you can clamp them. You'll need to roll 10 middle strips that are going to lay left to right in rows between the edges, and then 14 that are going to run top to bottom in the columns between the edge strips. Don't worry about making them all as long as the edge strips, and it's actually easier to weave shorter strips and then add more material. Plus it creates cool patterns. Once you've got your strips, place the V edge strip along the board, or even the edge of your table, so that it hangs over on this end 1 inch, and clamp it in place so that you have a guide for these first edges, because it's really important to be as square as possible. And you want the V to be facing up so they can insert things into it. Otherwise, if you don't stay square, it's going to look like crap. So set the left edge on top, tuck 1 inch of it under, flip it, and then put the brown edge underneath, staple. Now you've got this smooth corner. Now with your longer middle pieces, you're going to work your way up the edge. So this next one's going to be a loop, since the first one was inserted. So we'll undo this for a second. Bring that in, doesn't really matter. Bring it in from the short side, staple it just past that left edge so that it can be hidden. It'll be hidden when you weave the next one. See how it's gone? No more staple. So then the next third row will be inserted. And you want that to, so you want to open the V of the left edge and insert the strip all the way in to the center of the V. And then put your staple down there. And then cover your staple with the material. Next one's going to be a loop. So you actually don't have to be so close for that one because you have to push it down. Push that down tight. The next one is an insert. And pull the material back. Okay. You want to make sure these pieces are tight and straight. All the strips need to be really tightly pushed together and straight. The fourth row was that loop. Fifth row straight, inserted, and then you want all the sharp ends. You always want to staple downward too because you want all the sharp ends of the staple going down. So continue up this edge going, alternating loop and inserted end edges. And strips, I should say. And then you can even pre-make your little loops, like this one. See how easy it is. The clamps are going to help you keep this process square, because maybe you want to put a clamp down there now. And you just keep doing the inserted and loop ends. And oops, see that one's. If you make a mistake though, you can just take the staple out and reposition the strips. Hopefully you don't have to do that too often. So just move right on here. Alright, so good enough. So when you're finally up to your 12th row, this is my 11th one right here. So now I'm going to do, and you also have 16 columns this way, but this 12th row, when you get to here, you're going to put your top V strip. The opening is going to be down, and you're going to wrap it around your left edge. With that, you're going to wrap that green edge under, because you're creating another nice corner. Flip that. See? Now you've got a nice clean edge. Now you're ready to start adding vertical strips or columns. I like to start at the bottom because that way it's easy to keep everything tight. I'm going to do this for a second. Since your first vertical strip was a loop, this cat strip is going to be inserted. So you want to stick that in there. Sometimes it's easier with this bottom edge to just push it all the way in and then come back and clean it up later and just staple it. Because otherwise your staple falls on the floor and your camera girl has to pick it up. Okay, then you're going to weave the little cats in and out, pushing and pulling and pull the strips as you go so they're all snug. And use your clamps to clamp a row or a column as you go along to help keep everything tight. You want to keep everything tight because it will make it easier to clean your mat later if the weave is tight. Alright, the top, you're going to create a loop. So lift that strip, swing this around, stick your stapler under there. You can trim that excess later that's underneath. Staple and hide it under there. Now it's time for the second right at the bottom. So your next column is going to be your purple strip. So that's going to be looped. So that's easy. So lift that and shoot that baby down here. Okay. Staple that. Okay. And that gets covered up as you weave. Now, this purple one is a little short. So to add more length, when you get to a short strip, Just take your next strip, wrap it around, roll it over it, position it, this connection, so that it falls under and being hidden. So it's hidden by the strip that runs perpendicular and over, so it covers it. And once you figure that out, where that sweet spot is, staple them together. You can always trim up the pieces too if you need to, so you don't have too much thickness in one area. Now, when you get to the top, you can see this is too long, and it is supposed to be inserted. So what we're going to do is set it to the edge here, and your inserted pieces are too long. Lay them flat, cut long overhang, and now it's going to go in, and that way the end of the strip fits snugly into the V. Pull your material back, staple, and there you go. And again, you may want to clamp to keep everything in place and pull and make sure everything, this is tight. This is the toughest part of the whole thing, is just keeping everything. Now if you don't want to mess with stapling, you could just staple, but I like having them covered. It looks more neat. So continue alternating loops and inserts and pushing everything snugly together as you staple and cover, and keeping it square. Now let's say, through the magic of TV, we're almost done, and we're on that final column. I had started this one in the other direction, but it works the same way. So you're going to insert this V edge. Remember, the V is open. And you're going to stick it in here. I'd already stapled it. And then push that edge back so you can staple it. Cover it back up. Now this purple is a little too long. So just like we did as we were going along, we're going to cut that, since it's inserted, cut that little trim off and insert it into the V and staple, pull that back, staple and cover. The one after that is going to be a loop, so you're going to, continue just like that. Now, when you get to the very end corner, you want to wrap the bottom edge, this purple. Oops, sorry. So you're going to pull that underneath. So you're going to staple that, staple the brown, pushing the orange out of the way, pull that over, and then lastly is the final edge. Pull that over, you're going to come in from the other direction, and then you are all done weaving. Now you want to cover the staples and trim any of the long pieces. So you're going to take your scissors or your stapler, and you're going to push down the points so there's no sharp points. With your duct tape, you're going to cover them like this so you don't scratch your table or your floor if you're using this as a mat for your pet's food. So there you go. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below or email me at linda@sunsugarfarms.com. And please, once you make your mat, stop using reusable bags. They're all just fat plastic bags that big companies use to make you advertise for them. And then buy more bags when they, without fail, will fail. Instead, be a boxer and not a bagger and use these Crispy Crates. Crispy Crate systems will last forever unless you accidentally run over them. But even then, they're recyclable. Go to my website, sunsugarfarms.com. I guarantee you'll find a Crispy Crate system there that will be forever full you fill the cart. And use code BEABOXER for 10% off and save some green while you're being truly green. Thanks for watching.